Okay. Hey gang, glad to have you guys on here tonight. I'm really excited about what we're going to talk about tonight. And the confession of why I'm super excited about it is because my daughter is better at Instagram than I am. And if I like a few times I've stuck my toe in the water over there in that place, that Instagram place, and my daughter's like, "Mom, what are you doing? You're doing it wrong." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna have you seen the little GIF of the baby that walks into the room and goes, "Oh," and turns around? Okay. Like, whoa, I'm in the wrong place. That's how I feel on Instagram. And I have watched my friend Rachael, who I'm going to introduce you to tonight. I have watched her just do so many awesome things via Instagram. And she's even recently shared some of her training in some of our Jewel groups. And I was like, oh, okay, we need this bad. And I can't speak for everyone that's going to be on here, Rachael, because I don't know everyone who might get on here tonight. I don't know who all might get on here. But I want to open it up for you to speak to us like we're dummies. Don't feel bad for talking to us like we might not know anything, because I know that a lot of us on here, because of the questions that have been asked, even since I started posting some, I posted just a few tips the other day that were not my tips. And I saw some people going, I don't even know what that means. So basics, and then we would love to know all of your beautiful information outside the basics. But I want to introduce you to, this is Rachael Rogers. She is a Sapphire Ambassador. She's a friend of mine as well. She's from Amarillo, Texas, sweet as she can be. And when you look at her Instagram, the picture that I posted in my team page, instead of just posting your picture like you would normally do, I took a picture of your Instagram. And see, that's the way my daughter's Instagram looks like. It's all like a color theme. It's beautiful. And the way her Instagram looks is, to me, this is like, I looked at it and I thought, oh, that's very Rachael, like sweet. And she has a very sweet spirit, very sweet heart. And I appreciate you being willing to do this for us tonight. I would love if you have some part of it in your mind and would like to tell us anything, share us anything about how you got involved with Plexus, if there's something that you find particularly fun to tell. Okay.
Yeah, that's perfect. Well,
okay.
Hi guys. So excited to be on with you guys tonight. I love Lori. She and I have really, over the last couple of years, kind of developed a friendship, and more so in the last probably 6 months or so. And God has just kind of crossed our paths in ways outside of Plexus, ironically, kind of just through our faith, and it's been incredible. But a little backstory of how I got involved with Plexus. I'll tell you very briefly because I don't want to spend a whole lot of time here. But number one, I did not start. If you go look at my Facebook wall or my Instagram wall now, I think I've got about 8,600 on Instagram, followers on Instagram. I've got about almost 24,000 on Facebook, with about 5,000 friends. So that's where the most of my following is. And honestly, that's where most of my comfort is too, because that's where I started my business. So it has been, it's been a stretch for me to branch out into Instagram and to create what I have created in the last couple of months. But it's working, and I'll tell you all of my tips and how I've actually added several thousand new followers in probably the last, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 months.
Wow.
So it is very possible to do, and there are very easy tips. You just got to know how it works. And it is a totally different animal, not totally, but mostly different animal than Facebook. But first, let me kind of tell you how I got involved in Plexus. I need them out, please. The dogs, we just have a new puppy, and she's going to try to get in my lap, and we don't need that right now. No, my mama's working. So I was a health and fitness snob, if you will. I turned my nose up to pretty much every multi-level marketing company. So I'm not really offended when people do that to me now, because I understand. I did that for years, and I just know it's not the right time for them, but something that I post might spark an interest. So I just continue to build a friendship, a relationship outside of that. And that's kind of what my friend Leslie did. Leslie Andrew is a Sapphire Ambassador, and I signed up under her. And she had just taken, she's a photographer here in town, had taken pictures for me one time. That's the only way we knew each other. And we had a lot of mutual friends and stuff, but we were friends on Facebook. She starts posting about this crazy thing called Plexus. I turned my nose up for several months until one day that she starts talking about gut health. And I had been, for about 5 years, I had completely changed my lifestyle. I used to be a sugar addict. And whenever I say addict, I'm talking hardcore. It was a drug for me. Just to kind of walk you through one of my days, I would go get 2 Maple Crunch cinnamon rolls from a little donut stop here in town called the Donut Stop. And I'm not kidding. They're as big as my face. They're like huge. And it's a glazed cinnamon roll that they smother in maple icing, and then they stuff it in fried donut crumbs. And that's called the Maple Crunch. I would eat 2 of those and drink a chocolate milk for breakfast every day. Every day. Then for lunch, I would usually go get not a Maple Crunch. I didn't eat it again at lunch. I would eat a Monte Cristo sandwich. You guys know what a Monte Cristo is? Totally fried. And then you dip it in raspberry preserves and it's sprinkled with powdered sugar. And I would drink a 44-ounce or a 64-ounce vanilla Coke with my lunch. I would stop by. I worked in a little town outside of Amarillo called Canyon, and I had to go to the bank and to the post office for my job every day. And in the middle was a bakery. And I would stop at the bakery, and I would usually get half a dozen cookies, and I would eat them either by that evening or I would eat them by the next morning. And then have it for like a mid-morning snack because the donuts weren't enough. And then at night, I would usually go refill my 44 or 64-ounce vanilla Coke and eat something fried again. The crazy thing is that I weighed 20 pounds less whenever I was eating that way, but my body was so inflamed, and you can see it in pictures. So completely transform my life and decide, you know what, I'm tired of being sick all the time. I'm tired of having acne all over my face all the time. I'm tired of not sleeping well and needing a nap every day. I'm tired of being bloated and irregular. I'm just tired of it. So I'm going to do things the old-fashioned way, right? How many times do we hear people say that, right? I was that girl. I'm going to do things the old-fashioned way. I'm going to go get healthy. And I started training I need like big goals for to stick it out, because I'm like one of those girls. It's like, if it ain't fun, I am not doing it. I'm not going to do it, so I needed it to be like there's a big goal in mind. So I decided I'm going to train for a fitness competition. I'm going to be a bikini competitor, which is the base level of bodybuilding. And so I started looking at their diet, looking at their exercises, and I started following it. And then I picked a competition, and I decided I'm going to do that. Well, in the middle of my prep, Leslie starts posting about gut health. And I was like, man, she posted the Candida symptoms chart back when we could post that. And that was what just was like, oh my gosh, I have a lot of these symptoms. And for 5 years, I had been leading this healthy lifestyle. I was in the gym 6 days a week. I was eating extremely clean, most of the time organic. I was drinking a gallon of water every single day, but I still craved sugar like crazy. I would usually eat fruit just to satisfy it, but I would talk myself into letting myself have a cupcake multiple times a week because I was working so hard and deserved it. So those cravings were still there. I still needed a nap every day. I was still bloated and irregular, and my healthy diet and exercise was not cutting it. So that's what led me into Plexus. And when I started Plexus, I had probably about maybe 1,200 Facebook friends, which is a lot for some of you guys, and that's okay too. I come from Amarillo, but I've been in the largest churches in Amarillo, and that's how I knew that many people. We were in a church of 10,000 members, and I led worship there. So a lot of people knew me from that, and we were just Facebook acquaintances because of that. But I had to build in a certain way, and I built first on Facebook, and I did it by Facebook videos. Before lives were even a thing, I did videos all the time. So that's my quick tip about Facebook. If you're not doing videos, do videos on Facebook, even if they're not about Plexus. I'm sure Lori can tell you that even just through her lives that she's been doing recently about healing, more than likely she's probably getting some people messaging her, and conversations are going to lead to Plexus down the road. If they haven't already, they're going to.
Right.
So I started talking about Plexus first, and then I started talking about my faith, and it just kind of built. And for a long time, so my Instagram, I actually started if you scroll way, way, way back on my Instagram page, I started that when I wanted to start tracking my fitness progress. So if you scroll all the way back, my very first pictures were my before pictures of, okay, this is what I'm going for right now. I'm thin, but I don't have a lot of muscle mass. And then you go all the way through my competition and then after, and there's just a lot of stuff in between. And then recently I have started kind of diving into the world of fashion blogging and style blogging. And I don't really blog necessarily, but I'm more of like a fashion style influencer. And I love fashion. So that's something I'm going to touch on tonight. Somebody asked a question on your team page, do you mix personal and business? Yes, because you are yourself and your business. You're not just Plexus. And if you become just Plexus, your page is going to go down the drain real fast. Your business even. And the same goes for Facebook. If you begin just posting about Plexus and you don't share your life with your friends, they're going to go, wah, wah, boring. I'm not interested, most of them. So you want to share who you are. Your friends, your followers, they're going to find something that they love about you. So first things first, let me talk about why Instagram. Why should we care about Instagram? If Facebook has worked so well, why should we care about Instagram? Okay. Well, let me tell you that lots and lots and lots has changed and probably will continue to change with Facebook. Facebook does not like you to post any type of businessy post on your personal wall. If you are going to post a business post, they want you to have a business page. Well, as most of us know, a business page doesn't really usually work very well. People are your friends and they want it. It's like with Facebook, everybody, because of the way it started, everybody just wants to know what's going on in your life. We're nosy and we're like, what's going on? Let me peer through the windows of Lori's life today and see what's going on in her life, right? So if you have a business page, you might get some friends that are like, oh yeah, I'll support that, but I'm going to unfollow her page so I don't ever have to see her posts, okay? So with Instagram has always been very, very business friendly, and they actually promote business. They actually encourage you to have your page as a business page. And when you can actually set your profile to be a business profile or an influencer profile, and you can actually run ads. You can promote your profile to a certain audience, and you can either choose the audience or you can have Instagram choose it based on what your profile is about, based on your hashtags, based on what you post about. They have very smart algorithms that can say, oh, so-and-so might like Rachael, so I'm going to put her as a suggested person to follow. Or whenever I promote this, I'm going to put this in so-and-so's feed. So when you promote, you have to pay for these ads, but it's like you can pay, it's like 7 days can be like $12 or $15. It's not expensive to do that. And again, you can choose your audience. So that's one good way. But Instagram also, and like Lori was saying, is your daughter on Facebook much?
Not nearly as much as she's on Instagram.
Okay. So most young people these days, I would still consider myself to be young. I'm 35 and I still think I still consider myself young.
Oh yeah, me too.
But like,
I'm pushing it, but you're not.
I feel like I am, but I love Facebook, and apparently the youngster crowd is saying that Facebook now is for old people. And I'm like, what? I am not old, but that's the viewpoint. So they think, oh, Facebook is like the senior citizens get together page. So they are all moving over to Instagram. Well, guess who the future of our businesses are, right?
Right.
We have to target that crowd. We have to talk to those younger generations, or talk to, if you are in an older generation, you got to talk to the grandparents of those generations so that grandparents can influence their grandchildren, you've got to branch out and start building relationships over there. So Instagram that's why I say, if you're not using Instagram and Facebook, I don't think you need to let go of Facebook entirely, because there's still a lot of good potential over there. But Instagram is kind of where the younger generation is moving. So you've got to move with them And that's always going to be true. If you get set in your ways, then you're going to lose a lot of the influence that you have. That's why we see so many.
I have to interject something because
Yes.
I can remember a friend of mine back when I had a MySpace page. If any of you can remember this, right? I can remember a friend of mine after Facebook became kind of popular, he posted this countdown clock and it said he had named the countdown clock MySpace Death Watch. And I was like, what does that mean? And I remember thinking, oh my God, nothing could ever replace MySpace, not in my life, maybe for other people. And I don't even know, I don't even know how to log into MySpace anymore. And like Facebook has been where it's at for me for a long time. And I know that I need to bend. And so it's not, I don't think that we have a Facebook death watch, but we do need to be looking into the younger generation. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's a perfect example. I have MySpace as well. And apparently there is like MySpace still exists, but I like you said, I don't know how to log into my account. I have no clue what it would be. So Instagram is kind of where that younger generation is moving. So we want to move with them. Okay. So let's talk about Instagram basics. All right. And if you guys are posting questions in the chat, if you think of things as I'm going, feel free to type them in the chat and I'll go back at the end and answer some questions. So Instagram basics. The first thing that you're going to want to do is make sure that you're posting clean images. So not blurry, not pixelated. If your eyes aren't good anymore, ask somebody that has good eyes, okay? Get somebody younger, send them the picture and say, does this look clear? I just want to make sure because, I'm not so sure about my eyes anymore. I got to go get them checked. Whatever. But you want to make sure that you're posting clean images. You also want to make sure that you're posting relevant images, okay? When I first started Plexus, my posts were from Googling Plexus. So it was like the frog. Do y'all remember the frog picture with the tangerine? And it had like the big Plexus Slim logo, and it was like some crazy saying that was totally cheesy. And I got made fun of. And I'm telling you, and I look back now and I'm like, like Amanda said, like rompers are relevant. Yes, Amanda. That's my latest post. You guys I'm going to share my screen here in a second and I'll show you guys my Instagram page and kind of what I do. But so first and foremost, you want to make sure that your images are relevant, that they are clean. And I like to use a white background. One of the things that I was sharing on the Jules page, so as you can tell, like the walls in our bedroom are like this rusty red. All of our wood is dark brown. All of our finishes are really warm tones. That's not really trendy right now. What's trendy is Magnolia Farms, white, like just very clean and crisp and traditional. And whether you glam it up or you kind of country it up, whatever it is, white backgrounds tend to be very trendy right now. So that's kind of the way that I've rolled. But I've had to get creative with it because my house is not white at all. There's like hardly any white in it anywhere. The only white wall I have in my house is my wall that's striped. Have you guys seen my gold and white striped wall?
Yes.
That's the only white, and it has the gold in it. So it's very busy. And sometimes I use that on my page, but it's not like in the walls in there, the rest of the walls are gray. So I can kind of filter them to make them look white because they're a lighter gray. But you got to get creative with it. And I'm going to talk about how to filter your images. I'm going to talk about how to edit them. And I'll make it easy. I know that this can get a little bit overwhelming. Like, do I even want to venture down this road? I want to encourage you to venture down it. Okay. So
I'll just say it beats cold calling. So, hey,
yes.
If you can get people to draw them in, then, spend an all day cold calling, I'd rather jack with an image. Let's go.
Yes.
Tell us.
Yes. Okay. So one of the things that I did to get some white backgrounds, I bought a sticky, it's like a white marble sticky background thing on Amazon. And I think it was maybe like $15 or something. And what I did is I went to a restaurant supply store in town and I got a restaurant size cookie sheet. And I plastered that thing to the back of a cookie sheet because I needed a hard surface like a cabinet, but I didn't want to stick it on a desk or somewhere where it's going to be permanent. I wanted to be able to move it around in my house. So it's just a white marble background. You could just Google photography backgrounds on Amazon, and they have like white wood, they have regular wood. If you want to do more of like a theme that matches more of what you're into and you're not into the white trendy thing, that's okay too. You just want to make sure that whatever you're posting is you, okay? But that's what I did. That was one of my backgrounds. And then another one I found, you know, those white like shag faux fur rugs, they're just really pretty. Well, I got one for my office for $25 at Ross Dress for Less, of all places. So you can find like little bath rugs that are that, I mean, they're everywhere. I think somebody said they found them at Walmart. One of the Jules commented and said, "Oh, I found these at Walmart," and they're just in the bath section. So you don't need a big space if you're laying stuff out on a rug. You can, I mean, think about it. Your products are like this big. One of my girls said that whenever she needs just a plain white background, she gets a sheet of paper, like printer paper, and we'll put her products on it and then just get close up for a picture. I'm like, that's brilliant. So you don't have to go expensive. You don't have to go build a new house and have some trendy house to be able to be relevant and trendy on Instagram. You can do things a whole bunch of different ways. So there's that. When you are taking your own pictures, if you have an iPhone, I have an iPhone 7 Plus, and I actually prefer its camera. If you don't have a new iPhone, most of our smartphones have very, very good cameras on them now. That is a huge, huge plus for us. Huge. Because several years ago, our iPhone cameras stunk. I mean, they really were not very good images. So you had to pull images from the internet. Now we can take our own images and filter them and edit them in such a way that, I mean, it amazes me, honestly. I'm sure Lori, because she has been a photographer for years, can tell you that the quality of what we have for free, like free apps, you guys, that have incredible abilities to give us, to like sharpen an image and just tweak them little bits here and there. I need to send you, Lori, a video that I posted on my team page that you can post on. I hope it's short enough. It should be. I did a screen recording. There's no sound with screen recordings, but I recorded how I edit an image in Instagram only. And then I did another video on how I edit an image in an app called Darkroom. So write that down if you want an app. I believe it's free. It's called Darkroom. And it has its own filters, but I actually like to just tweak the brightness, the contrast, the sharpness, the tint, the temperature, all of these things. And I showed my team, this is what, like, I tried to go slow because you can't see my finger, but you can see what at the top of the screen, it'll say, okay, she's adjusting brightness. And I'll go like all the way up, and then I'll just kind of start tweaking it back down a little bit. And I just get it to where it looks nice and crisp and clean. So I'll send you guys that. But Instagram, if you are on Instagram, one little trick, so they have this thing called a shadow ban. If you post an image that has been posted by a whole bunch of other people and you don't edit it a little bit with the Instagram editing feature or filter feature, you are more likely to get shadow banned, which means even if you post publicly, which I will tell you that I would, if you are on Instagram, I would make your profile public. Now, I know that a lot of you guys have kids. You're not always okay with having your babies in front of other people. If that's the case, you might consider making a second page where it is like things in your personal life that you are okay with sharing publicly, and maybe keeping your kids out of that one, or posting, not their faces, or however you want to do that. But I definitely suggest to have your profile that you're going to be using for business purposes to be public. But when you do that, you can post publicly, you can use hashtags. And if you use certain hashtags, there are certain ones like model, or you can Google lists of shadow banned hashtags, and it'll tell you. and we'll talk about what the heck is a hashtag here in just a second also, because some of you may be going, I don't even know what that is or what it means.
Rachel, did you say that your page is you labeled it as a business page, categorized it?
Yes. Yes, I have it as trying to think if I did public figure. I believe it is. I have it set as a public figure, and Bridget Ryan was actually the one that encouraged me to do that. And she has built her following. I think she's at around like 10 or 11,000, maybe 12,000, somewhere around there, followers. So yeah, okay. A shadow ban, Linda, is where basically they make your image not visible to it won't go in your feed, in your friend's feed, and it won't show up under the hashtags that you've used. It'll only be visible on your page if somebody clicks on your Instagram page. So yeah, so you have to be really careful with, posting images, but when you go into Instagram and you post an image, you upload an image, and let's say that you just want to tweak it just a little bit because when you use the Instagram features of editing and their filters, it tells Instagram, oh, she is using our features. So we want people to see this image because she's using our stuff to edit this. Well, it goes anywhere from like 1 to 100 on all of them. So some of them go like up 50 and down 50, I think. But you can go in there and just turn it to like 1. If you don't want to change it, if you love the image, just put it to like 1 or put a filter on it and go all the way down to like 1. You won't even barely be able to tell, but that still tells Instagram she's using our filter on this image, so we're not going to ban that from people seeing it, okay? Instagram, okay, so I told you about the Instagram edits. I told you about darkroom. Insta size is another one that you can take any image and fit it to a square. Let me say this. Now, Instagram will allow you to upload an image that is not just a square now. They didn't used to. But on your actual page, the thumbnail will still be a square. So when you are changing the size of the image or whatever, you want to make sure that when it's zoomed into the square, it's not like chopping off your head, unless like that in fashion blogging, that's kind of, in some pictures, it's like cute to chop off your head for whatever reason and just show the outfit. There are girls that their entire profile, you don't even see their face. It's just from the neck down. You just see their outfits, and they have hundreds of thousands of followers. So it works. But if you want your face to be seen, or you want somebody to, see what you're doing, you want to make sure that when it zooms in, it's going to be cropped properly. A good, easy way to get around that is just to use InstaSize. You just go to InstaSize, upload your picture, and it'll put a white border. Either like if it's a long image, you'll have a white border on the top and the bottom. If it's a longer image up and down, then you'll have borders on the sides. And that can create a very clean looking profile also. So that's a good one. Okay, let's move on to tags and hashtags. They are different, okay? So tagging people, tagging brands, if like, for instance, whenever I am, and this is where I can kind of share my screen with you guys. Okay. So this is my Instagram page right here. So I've got about 86,000 followers. I am following about 1,500 people. And I have my website. So I actually have a website where I link all of my outfits and stuff for people. I do now, I will say this, and I'll show you the difference. So I had a photographer, so I'm working with a local photographer. We're basically collaborating. So they take pictures for me and edit them for free in exchange for me marketing them. So I tag them. So if I go on to here and I click this little tag icon, Landis Photography is the group that the couple that I'm using. I tagged Bauble Bar because that's where my earrings are from. I tagged Dior because those were my sunglasses from. Shop Style is, and Shop Style Collective is a group that like an affiliate program, kind of. It's not network marketing, but you can link clothes and you get paid like cents on the click or whatever. It's like 4 cents per click or whatever. So you can earn money for recommending makeup products or beauty products or whatever. And that goes for anybody. You can sign up for Shop Style. So anybody can do that. If you like beauty, fashion, makeup, then I would encourage you to do that yourself. Hidden Crown, I have a hair extension that's a Hidden Crown hair extension. And so I tagged them. And a lot of times, so if you go to their profile, they have actually linked my images. And look at this. They have 47,000 followers. So when they link my image and they tag me in their picture, then I get new followers. So, and that is just from me saying, hey, I used your image, I'm sorry, I used your Hidden Crown hair in this picture. And they're like, oh, that's a pretty image. We're gonna promote that. Okay. So tag brands whenever you do that stuff. I did the same thing with this one. This was kind of interesting. So I got this kombucha and I tagged them in the right there. And they messaged me and said, hey, we'd like to use your image. Can you email that to us? And we want to use it on our page. I said, yeah, absolutely. So these pictures right here, these two were done with a professional camera. This one, and this, actually these four, these two right here were done by a boutique that is in town. They have a lady that she's not really a photographer, but she acts as one there for them. But you can tell that all of them have the same crisp cleanness whenever you click on them. This is that marble sticky background on a cookie tray that I told you guys about. And then I just put my purse and just some things that I love. This is called a flat lay. And you can Google flat lay images. You guys, you could put a product right here instead. Put one of your Plexus products there instead. And you've got a really classy, eye-catching image that isn't going to turn people off. Let me scroll back and show you where I have actually done that with some of my Plexus products. Here's one. Yeah, go for it.
I was going to ask you, if you do that, do you tag the product and back to your website or anything like that?
No, but I probably should. Okay, so I don't think I can, you have to have 10,000 followers to be able to have like clickable swipe up links in your Instagram stories.
Okay.
But I don't think you can I don't think that it has, actually it does. There is a way now, I think, but you have to have 10,000 followers at minimum to be able to, you like click the image and you can link it directly. So like I could link the purse, the glasses, and the products to websites. Okay. But you have to get to that 10,000 threshold first. So, but what I usually do is I will tell people, I talk about, candida overgrowth and dysbiosis, and I probably should edit that now that I'm thinking about it, because I don't think we're supposed to say candida because I think it's a diagnosis. But
Girl,
anyway,
I say go with
it. Okay. If compliance contacts me, I guess I will.
Lori said I could.
No, I won't name drop. No. But I usually will tell people, something about if you want more information, you can go here. If you want to know where to get this product, I did another one with products right here. This was a blanket that I bought at Sam's, one of those knit blankets. And I just kind of launched into summertime. This is kind of my goal with summertime. I want to take block and boost and just kind of get some extra fat burning in before swimsuit season rolls around. And then these were the hats that we got at Emerald Extravaganza last year. But you don't have to have, you could just put another hat there. You don't have to have something exactly like this. These are just to give you ideas, okay? There's another one. This was on my white fur rug. So, just little things like this. And I'll tell you too, you might be thinking, okay, do you have all these little things just laying around? I get all of that stuff at TJ Maxx and Ross on sale for $4 or $5. It's usually, I'm such a bargain shopper. So I try to go as cheap as I can. This image, you guys, came from the Plexus Worldwide website, Instagram page, not website, Plexus Worldwide Instagram page. And if you have not started following them, whoever is over their marketing now is doing an excellent job at getting those images to look very crisp and clean like this. And they're doing white backgrounds a lot because it's trendy. So, you know, I would encourage that. Another thing you can do if you have like a white brick wall, oh, let me show you guys this. This was something we were laughing about on the Jules page. I got to go all the way back. Okay, this one right here. This is my neighbor's garage. So my neighbor has a white garage. We do too, but it's always in the sunshine, and harsh sunshine is not good for photography. Usually in natural light, but in the shadows, or not necessarily shadows, but I guess it would be a shadow. But it's just so much better. It just looks better. So I have taken a lot of pictures. There's another one in front of their garage, and they have no idea that I do that. So it's pretty funny, but it works, you know. So find a white garage and go take a picture of, you know, yourself with your products or whatever. You can hold out your products. We all have, if you have an iPhone, you have portrait setting now. Have you guys seen that, where it blurs the background and will highlight? You can stand in front of your camera, have your husband or your daughter or whomever go out there with you and take a picture where your product is in focus and you are blurry. And I mean, it's very, very easy. You just have to know some of the little tricks. So tagging brands. So we talked about tagging brands. Let's talk about hashtags. So a hashtag creates a clickable link. Let me share my screen again, because I feel like sharing is,
yeah, it's very helpful.
Visual. I feel like the visual just helps. Let me move this little dude in my way. Okay. So let's go back to these right here. So on this one, these are hashtags: rompers, my style, fashion bloggers, style bloggers, Bobble Bar, Dior sunglasses. Those are hashtags that I use there whenever I use the products. I did multivitamins, gummy vitamins, kids multivitamin, healthy kids, healthy babies, healthy kiddos. Notice I did not do hashtag Plexus, hashtag Plexus multivitamin. I didn't even say the word Plexus in here. And I do that on purpose because I don't want people to get so caught up in, oh, she's just trying to like promote a brand. She's just trying to do whatever. I want them to hear my heart, and I want them to hear the meat of it. Don't get so caught up on the brand, but get the meat of what this is. This is a multivitamin and probiotic for your kids that is sugar-free. It's bioavailable. I said hello absorption. It's clean, no GMOs, and it's vegetarian. So like, I mean, come on now. It's kind of like crazy, and it's loaded with all sorts of stuff. And then I also, let me see if I can do, so you can upload multiple images at a time. So I told people right here, swipe right to view the benefits. So I did this image, and then I got to find the little thingy. And then that one also with it. But okay, what is shown.
That's what happens when you upload multiple images at once.
Yes. Yeah. So it will, let me see if it'll.
Which one it shows on your layout here. Is it the first one you load?
Yes, it's the very first one you load will be the first one. And when there are multiple, it'll post this little square at the top to tell people she posted multiple images here. Okay. Another good thing to do, so we're talking about hashtags. So a hashtag just creates a clickable link. So let's go back to the hashtag thing. Let's click on kids multivitamin, for instance. Oh, hey, looky there. Look at whose image is there. There are 826 posts. A lot of these are Plexus. That's actually a good thing, because then down, see, look at this. Okay, so under hashtag, so it'll say top posts. These are the top posts, you guys. We are dominating kids multivitamin as the top post on Instagram. That's huge. Wow. Then you scroll down and other people have posted other multivitamins, but we are taking over 2/3, it looks like, of
the top
post. That's a big deal. So instead of using Plexus or whatever, if somebody clicks on that or uses kids multivitamin, I mean, you'd be amazed at how many people will go on Instagram and type in, you can actually search the hashtag. So let's search kids multi. Let's just go kids multi instead of multivitamin. All right. So then you're going to get the same thing. We've got one on the top post. That's awesome. And then here we are. Everybody's posting their kids multi. There's X Factor. So if a mama is looking for a kids multivitamin and she types in kids multi, guess what she's going to see at the top of this thing? And it could be yours. It could be your hashtag. This is a really cute image. So whoever did that, oh, see, Plexus. I'm telling you guys, they know what they're doing. Let's go to their page and look. Because it's like, it really is incredible the way that they have started doing things. Just how clean these are. And you guys can go take screenshots of these. I think there are apps that you can use that will let you save and share them. But see, there's that image. But they're all just so professional. They really are. They're just very, very professional. So go use those. Use those images. All right. What was one thing I was going to tell you all about? I know that I wanted to talk to you about using hashtags that are relevant to your market and what you're interested in. A lot of times I'll do things like hashtag fur mom whenever I'm like, because even if it's like not even about, if it's about fashion and beauty, sometimes I'll throw fur mom in there because there are other fur mamas on Instagram that might be like, oh, she's fun and spunky. I've connected already with a lot of fashion bloggers that are just adorable and fun, just simply by getting into fashion, which kind of leads me to my next point for you guys, that whenever you are posting, this goes for Facebook and Instagram, I always tell my team to stick to the 3 E's, and I got these from Bob Heilig. Does everybody know who Bob Heilig is? Okay, if you don't, go look him up. He's really cute, number one, and my husband is okay with me saying that. But number two, he is really good at just encouraging entrepreneurs to build their brand. And one of the ways that he says to do that is by the 3 E's. And it's to educate, to entertain, and to empower. So you can do that. That's why videos like what Lori's doing with healing, she is educating. She's also entertaining, but she's also empowering in one video. Just those, she's hitting all 3 in that one. Well, let's talk about Plexus products. How can you educate somebody on the Plexus products that you post, what the benefits are? You post, you know, what's interesting to me is that I took a probiotic, the top rated probiotic at my health food store in town for so many years before, and I never could tell a difference. And then within a month on ProBio 5, I saw major changes that I needed to see in my body. And I love that it's giving me all of these amazing benefits. And here's the reason why. It has an antifungal. That's the biggest thing. We've got an antifungal. I call it our fungus ninja. That's my nickname for ProBio 5 is our fungus ninja, because that's what it does. It gets in there and it's like, yeah, to all the fungus in our gut. And so I'll say something like, if everybody's wondering what my fungus ninja is, here it is. You know, this is my gut fungus ninja. It keeps my gut healthy. It keeps me regular. Keeps my acne at bay, you know, whatever. Or I usually say cystic pimples because that's more of a symptom rather than a diagnosis. But you want to educate your people as to why Plexus has helped you. To entertain, there's so many ways that you can entertain. And I'm telling you, people are nosy, even on Instagram. They want to know what's going on in your life. They want to see videos of your kids or your grandkids being silly. They want to see the funny little things that go on in your life. They want to see, like if you want to post a joke, you know, post one of those funny little memes or something like that. But just make sure that it kind of fits your scheme, fits the overall outlook of your page. I didn't touch on this, but I will say that when you are posting, I feel like this for Facebook too. But on Instagram, especially because it's all thumbnails, you want to make sure that your images flow with one another. You can actually, there's lots and lots and lots of free resources on Google that will teach you how to create images on Instagram that flow, like your color schemes. Right now, I'm kind of moving more into like a blue and yellow color scheme. And that's why I posted that blue romper, because everything up to that point has been like a muted pink and white and all that stuff. So now I just posted a white background with a pretty bright blue thing, but I still have like the muted pink sunglasses. So just little things like that, where you're just tying one color into the next, just getting creative with your images and making them look uniform on Instagram especially. And then empowering. This is where I will tell you that videos, now I would not recommend posting a video to Instagram unless it's something like you're dancing with your kids and your products or something, like being silly, just doing the things that you do in your house that are funny. And, everybody loves to see stuff like that. But if you're going to do a long video or an educational video or an empowering video, do a live on Instagram also. It will highlight your profile. It'll put this little red ring. I think it does the same thing on Facebook now too. But it puts a little red ring around your name and your profile picture at the top of, like, if people are scrolling through their feed, it'll tell them who's live first. So if you have something on your heart, especially if you just, like, say you want to be an encouragement to somebody today, and God told you one simple little thing today that really touched your heart, get on Instagram Live and just talk about that. And it doesn't matter if you have anybody watch live at all. Don't worry about that. Just empower somebody, because you can also set your video on Instagram to still stay there for 24 hours. Now, it does disappear on Instagram after 24 hours. It's not like Facebook Live that they stay up until you delete them. I would encourage you to go live on Instagram and then go live on Facebook and tag, like double doozy it, do both that day. If you have something on your heart that you're like, man, Lori you have a perfect example in that. If she has something on her heart that the Lord has spoken, she's going to go live about it, and she's going to encourage people. And you can see that there are so many lives that are changing even outside of Plexus, just simply for the kingdom. And a lot of those may lead to Plexus someday too. And the same thing may be true for you. I always tell my team that I have always felt like Plexus was a ministry for me, that from the get-go, I actually had a guy. So if you guys are dealing with naysayers, let me just tell you that every single jewel in this company has also dealt with lots of naysayers. They've had people say really mean things about them. I've heard the stories. My person happened to be a pastor in my church who posted on Facebook that if only people would market Jesus the way they market Plexus, is what he said. And I commented, because that's who I am. And I said, well, some things are better marketed by action rather than word of mouth. But Plexus is not one of those things. I can't act out Plexus for you. I have to tell you about it, but I can act out Jesus. And that's sure as heck what I'm doing. So, and he came back later on. What was most hurtful is that I had a lot of my church friends commenting and liking his post. And I was the only person in our church doing Plexus at the time. So that was really, like small church. It was very obvious who he was talking about. And it was so hurtful. But I
gotta pause you for a second. Because I just gotta say that does more damage to Jesus from him showing his heart from a pastoral.
Oh yeah.
I mean, not that he damages Jesus. Lord, help me for saying that. Yeah. I'm saying that had no reflection. That had so much reflection on his heart and his ambition, or his, I don't know. To me, that makes me sting. It makes me really understand why people don't. I mean, it would make me not want to go to church there. And I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying, like, if I had seen that, I would think, gosh, wow.
Yeah. So, well, we don't go to church there anymore, but we did.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking, I hope she doesn't go to church, but I didn't want to say that. But
no, we did for several years after that. And honestly, like a lot of my pastors, my senior pastor actually started taking Plexus and saw really good results. His wife is still on my team. One of their best friends is still on my team. So it's really worked out. But it was just that, and I honestly think it was because I was posting the frog pictures, y'all. I think it was the frog pictures, because it was just like so cheesy and stuff, and I wasn't really educating about why I was doing it. And when I started talking about why, when I started doing videos and I started saying, listen, I'm taking this because all my friends knew I was healthy. They were like, why are you taking a weight loss supplement? And I was like, y'all think this is weight loss? Like, have you not been listening to me for the last 5 months? No, they hadn't been, because all they saw was slim, 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 slim. So I started educating, and guess what? My team, so it took me about 6 months to go gold, which now I have so many of my team members that are like, they would love to go gold in 6 months. So I know we're in a different time, and like we could post all the non-compliant things back then. I mean, truthfully, we posted all day long about disease, and like we talked about fungus, and we talked about candida, and we talked about all sorts of stuff. And we can't do that anymore. So it is a different animal now, but you can still be very successful. And but after I started doing videos, I went from gold to senior gold in 2 months, senior gold to ruby in 2 more months, or maybe 4. Maybe it took me 4 months to go senior gold, 2 months to go ruby, 2 more months to go senior ruby, and then 6 months to emerald. And then I sat at emerald for 1.5 years. So, I mean, like, and I'm coming up, I've been sapphire. June was the month that I went sapphire. So I'm coming up on 1 year, but I've learned the ebbs and flows of business. And that is a whole different a whole different video, whole different training. The last thing that I want to tell you guys about very quickly is loop giveaways and feature for feature. So there are certain things that you can do. You have to connect with certain people. You could actually even do this with like some of your Plexus team members if you wanted to. You could do a loop giveaway where all of you guys posted, hey, we're going to do a giveaway for a triplex combo. And they're like, you can have 10 of you go in on one triplex combo, which would be like $13 a person. And you could say, we're going to give away a triplex combo. You just have to follow all 10 of us and comment with what your health goals are. Okay? That's a loop giveaway. So they have to follow each person. And then you do have to post a disclaimer. I don't know exactly what it is. You just Google Instagram loop giveaway disclaimer. And it's basically saying Instagram is not liable for this giveaway, and they're in no way involved in this, because if you don't post that, somehow, I guess legally, somebody could say, well, they are acting like, and if you don't post it, then Instagram could be like, yeah, well, you're banned from Instagram forever. So you definitely want to use that. But that's a really good way to do product giveaways and get some interest. And it also is a way for you to get like more followers, because all of your 10 friends are going to have people in their circles that don't know you, so they're going to come and follow you. So you're going to gain followers and gain more attraction that way. You can do that with brands. Once your Instagram grows bigger, and you get around like 5,000 followers or whatever, then some brands might be willing to do that with you. And, or other, like I had somebody reach out to me and say, hey, we're going to do this loop giveaway. It's $25 a person. We're going to do a $250, I believe it was like a Nordstrom gift card, like a shopping spree gift card. And they just had to comment with what they would spend the $250 on. And that was it. And so it was really interesting how that went. And I think I got in that one day, we just did it for one day, I think, or was it over a couple of days? It might've been over a couple of days, but I think I got like around 300 or 400 new followers in those few days. So, and it's really hard to get that many new followers in, even a month sometimes. So, last thing is feature for feature. Talk to a Plexus friend and say, hey, I'd love to do a feature for feature with you. You have this many followers. I have this many followers. Let's cross them and say, you post a picture of your friend and talk about your friend's testimony. They post a picture of you, talk about your testimony, and encourage their followers to go follow you for whatever. Or you could even say, go follow her and I'll put you into a drawing. Go follow her, comment, done, and I'll put you into a drawing for a 7-day trial pack. Something as simple as that is going to get
someone who actually does a different business. Is that what you're talking about? Or?
No. I'm talking about Plexus. Like if they go, follow your friend, or like y'all could do that with each other, follow her and I will come back and comment done, because you're talking to your followers. So if your followers say, oh, I did it, then you can put them into a drawing for a 7-day trial. She can do the same thing. And then y'all can,
I have a question. Like how is it good? Is it good because you have more followers and that gives you benefits? Because in my mind, I don't want my friends following another Plexus person if they didn't know her before, unless there's a reason. I'm sure there is, but can you explain to me that reason?
Yeah, it's more or less, and you don't have to do it Plexus wise.
Okay.
You can do this in other ways, like with other friends. I mean, you could, I don't know how compliance would, if it was like a friend in another MLM company, I think that you'd probably, like if you're promoting another MLM product, I think you'd get in trouble for that.
So what if it was like a photographer or a prom dress company or hairdresser or something? Okay.
Yes, something like that. Like I do that with some of my fashion blogger friends, and they do that a lot. A lot of them have actually started featuring their friends on their Instagram stories too, and you can tag your friend in your Instagram story and say, go follow. So you don't even have to post it to your page and interrupt your scheme. You can just post it in your story and people will watch your story. Is everybody familiar with the Instagram stories are?
We need to know what that is.
Okay. All right. So the Instagram story, we have Facebook stories too. I don't know if you guys have ever seen, like when you upload a post, it'll ask you, do you want to add this to your story or just make it public or make it to your friends only? So Instagram doesn't ask you that, but on Instagram, you go to, let me open it up because I want to know exactly what you push. Okay, so you're not going to probably be able to see this. Let me dim. Okay, so do you see this up here? This is all the Instagram stories. So you just click on yours to add it, and it pulls up the camera. And right now it's like focusing on you guys. So, and then you just record something about your day. You talk about like, I'm going to the grocery store. I got to get some healthy food. I'm craving healthy food. This is amazing. Thank you. # thank you, Plexus. Whatever.
So could you look at, I'm feeding words to you, but I don't know if it's right. Could you look at story a little bit more like the way you play with Facebook, but then you're keeping your pretty color scheme and your blocks and your rows and all of that cleaned up by not posting things that you would post on Facebook? You post that to the story, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Yes. And the purpose of doing like the feature for feature, I totally understand what you're saying about not wanting to promote another Plexus person, because that could take your potentials away and give them to somebody else. So that totally makes sense. The goal, what I'm trying to get across, is to gain more followers, like ways to gain more followers, because the follower thing is a big deal on Instagram. And it's almost like the more followers you have, the more respected, and the more people are going to see your stuff, the more your posts are going to be suggested to people. So that's kind of where the goal is. You want to gain as many followers as you can. And there was one other thing that I think this is what I was thinking about a little bit ago. Following people that are kind of in the area that so for instance, I have followed a lot of bodybuilders since I started doing bodybuilding so many years ago. That was 2014 that I started my page. So I've had it for about 4 years now. And I followed a girl that just recently started talking a lot about gut health. And she actually has a lot of gut health issues. Here's the thing though. She's taking supplements that have artificial sweeteners, artificial dyes, and she markets them all the time. And so I commented several times and I was like, hey, you might consider this is just, I'm not trying to, tell you what to do. I'm just lovingly offering a suggestion. And I hope that my intention comes across well. But the supplements that you're taking have sucralose, namely, and that alone can kill up to 50% of your good gut flora. So if you're having gut issues, then you want to eliminate all of that stuff that you're taking. Now, maybe some of your products don't have that in there, so stay on those. And she's promoting this company. She got a $50,000 bonus for, it's a sports supplement company, but she won one of their challenges and got $50,000. So it's going to be kind of hard to leave a company that gave you $50,000, right? Unless you really truly care about your following. She has I don't know, y'all, like 200 and something thousand followers. Well, on this post, there were tons of people. She was talking about leaky gut and dysbiosis. I mean, like, hello, wide open market. And so I actually went
for those products.
Yeah. Yes. And so I actually went and messaged several of the, because there were several people that were commenting and they were like, I think I have that, because she was listing the symptoms that she was dealing with and all this stuff. And she was like, this is, I'm cleaning up my diet. I'm going to start eating, a lot more fruits and vegetables and all this business. But I personally don't think she really, I think she cares more about the money, because I've commented multiple times and she's actually responded to me and said, oh my gosh, I need to message you and talk to you so that publicly it looks like she's listening to me, and then I'll follow up with her through a private message and she never even reads it. So that tells me that she really isn't all that interested, and she's like, no, I've just, I'm making some money, so I'm going to stay here, but whatever. But I messaged some people from that and I just said, hey, I saw your comment on a post about gut health. I didn't even say who it was. I just said, I saw you commented on a post about gut health and was talking about leaky gut. Have you ever read any of the articles that link artificial sweeteners and dyes to dysbiosis and leaky gut? And they were like, no, but I'd love to. So then I send them these articles. I messaged probably 15 or 20 people from that post that had commented, and there were hundreds of comments. But these were people that said, I think I have that. And I'm like, this is an open door for me, because she's not giving them anything. And she doesn't even know what her own answer is, but I have an answer. So I'm going to message these people. And I actually got 3 or 4 customers out of those messages. Just simply, and I didn't even obviously I was going about it thinking this is going to hopefully lead to Plexus. But I just let the conversation flow naturally. And I basically just started out with, these are the articles, tell me what you think. And they were like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Have you dealt with this? And I said, oh yeah, I had a lot of the symptoms, and I started these products that have really helped me. I take an antifungal probiotic, and I take a really gentle daily GI tract and colon cleanse that have just really helped a lot. And then I have another product that helps me balance my blood sugar. And it's been amazing for me. And they were like, well, where do you get those? I mean, those things naturally come up. And then they're like, oh, well, do you sell them? And I tell them, well, you can buy them through me. And this is something I always tell people. This is a little tip. I know I'm going over time. Sorry.
No, we're good.
Okay. One thing I always tell people, if I don't know them personally and it's in a conversation like this, I say, well, I can help you get these products, but if you would rather have somebody that's closer to where you live, I'd be happy to find somebody in your area. I say that because most of the time they've already established a relationship with me. So they're going to come back to me and say, no, I'm fine with purchasing it from you. And it kind of takes the pressure. And honestly, if they came back and said, yeah, I would actually love that. If I could get it from somebody locally, that would really help. Then I'm going to go and I'm going to actually try to find somebody locally for them. Yeah. Because it's more important for me to get another person on Plexus products than it is for me to get the sale. I just want as many people on this planet taking Plexus as possible. So I don't care how they get on it. But that also, I did that with one of my runners. She's a senior gold ambassador on my team. I met her on Instagram, messaged her about her Cellucor supplements that are totally not natural. And we started up a conversation, and 9 months later, she joined my team, and we built a friendship simply on Instagram. So it really is very, very doable. And I think I probably got a lot of questions to answer.
I have a question. I know that other people have asked this as well. The question is, how often do you post?
Okay, right now, I've had a little thing going on in my life recently that I'll be posting about soon. I'm going to do a video about. But I have not felt incredible, so I have not really been posting as often as I usually do. But I've part of me, I'm not been sick, but should I just tell them? I probably should just tell them. I don't know. I'm pregnant, y'all. So if you know my story, you know that we waited a very, very long time, and it's so crazy. I got pregnant in a time that I wasn't even anywhere near. I was actually 6 days out from my cycle, like no ovulation egg available to be fertilized whatsoever. And God was like, well, today's the day. So it's pretty awesome. But anyway, so I've had morning sickness for the last couple of weeks, and I'm going to be announcing, we actually get pictures. Jason and I get pictures taken tomorrow. Lori has been very instrumental in praying for that. And yeah, that's kind of how our friendship started, was that she prayed with me in Maui 2 years ago. And yeah, so pretty awesome. But anyway, so I haven't posted as often as I usually do lately because I just felt like poo. But usually I try to post once a day, at least once a day on Instagram. Sometimes I will post twice a day. If I've posted early in the morning, I will, and I try to do like a style picture and then some type of you probably saw that on my page. Like I did the kombucha and then I did a style picture, and then I did the X Factor and then I did a style picture. I did a flat lay and then I did a style picture, or a picture of my face, something with my face, something not with my face, essentially is what I'm doing. And that just kind of creates a flow for me and helps the pictures that I took with a photographer last a little bit longer, so that they're not always doing free work for me. I want to be respectful of them. So that's, I would say, probably daily, if you can do daily. Similar to Facebook, the algorithms, I don't know the algorithms though. Did I get you all emotional talking about that, baby?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm still.
It's really incredible.
I'm good. Keep talking.
Okay. But yeah, so on Facebook, the algorithm has changed where if you have one post where you're getting lots of engagement, you just want to do that one post and let it ride that day. We used to say, we used to do like 2 to 3 Plexus posts a day sprinkled in. It was like 5 posts a day that we were told to do whenever I first started. And that worked with the algorithms then, but it does not work with them now. So don't try that now. Instagram, I don't know what the algorithms are on that. So, but I know that 1 to 2 posts a day has worked really well for me. So that's what I would do there. Okay, let me see. Okay, I've answered that one.
The same for the stories. That's the other question that's being asked.
Okay, what was it?
About the stories, like do you post same amount when you're posting on your wall or whatever you call it on the Instagram?
Okay.
No,
Instagram stories, I would say the more the better.
Okay.
When people that is something you want to use for like all the little things that you're doing throughout the day.
Like Facebook.
Yes, on Facebook. But you're going to want to be doing these. Thank you, Tammy. You want to be doing those like with Instagram. Really good things to do on Instagram story that you would not do on your Instagram wall is post, do little videos. They're like 15 seconds, I think, that it'll record. You did. Yes. Okay. So sorry. People are saying, I suspected about the baby. I think some people have kind of been thinking, but because I've kind of been an MIA, and then I've been talking about, pregnant anyway. But on Instagram story, if you're going to do like a healthy recipe, if you're making something like a simple, you don't even have to necessarily be super duper healthy, but like I should have probably Instagram storied it tonight, but I was too busy just trying to eat something so I didn't throw up. That I made stuffed bell peppers tonight. That's you just cook some meat, like taco meat in a pan, stuff it in a stuffed bell pepper, sprinkle some cheese on top, put it in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes, and you've got a yummy stuffed bell pepper, and it's healthy. So that would be a great thing to do. You just do little 15-minute or 15-second increments. And you say, I'm making stuffed bell peppers tonight. Here's how I do it. And you say, I'm going to, you just kind of, it's like create your own little channel, if you will. If you are doing meal prep, if you are mixing your pink drink, do a little video. There's this thing called Boomerang that's an option on when you're doing an Instagram story. It'll offer you to do the Boomerang. Have you ever seen those? It's the videos where like somebody's shaking it and then it goes backwards and it's like da 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 da. So that's a boomerang. So it's like, if you think about it, it's throwing it out and it's coming back. So that's exactly what the video does. Super cute ways to do your products with that.
I have a very important question. As soon as I ask the question, I'm gonna put this little thing over my screen. It'll look like that I'm going to step over to the side and do something, but I'm still being able to hear you. But I have to know, this question's not for me because I feel like I already know the answer to it, but I want them to hear you say the answer to, what would you feel like has been for your business the return on your time investment? Because I know, especially if you're over 40 like me, you start going, okay, the rug, and I need to go buy the sheesh. And then you start incrementing, okay, this is going to be time consuming. This is going to cause me to have to put mostly thought. Yeah. I know, because I've been a photographer, so I know that, like, I built a business on literally images that I created in my brain first. Yeah. And so, like, the entire business was built on that. So I get what you're doing, but I want other people to understand, and I want to know how you feel. What has been the return on your time investment putting some creativity into, because Instagram is way more creativity than what I think we're used to on Facebook. Yeah. And if you could answer, am I making it clear enough before I step away?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. You are definitely making sense. Yeah.
Okay. I'll be right back.
So I would say that, because to me, return on investment would be business. Like return on time investment would be business. Like, how many customers and ambassadors have I gotten? Well, like I said, I spent 9 months building a relationship with a girl that is now senior gold on my team, but that was 9 months of work. And so I feel like with Instagram, I have actually had to be a little bit more patient than I was with Facebook. However, I do feel like that is where the Instagram stories come into play, because the thing that Instagram lacks that Facebook has is that you see a lot more personality on Facebook. Like, you see there's a lot more connection happening on Facebook. There's a lot more commenting. On Instagram, it's so easy to just scroll through your feed and just see the images and not even read a caption. So I think that's one of the reasons why they created stories. But I have gotten on my Instagram story with a like pumpkin mask that's like peeling off my face, with the charcoal mask that's like, I can't even move my face when I'm talking like this. And I let it be funny. I've even, you know how like you wear those masks sometimes and it's so like cemented your face that when you laugh, you're just like, you know, and it's like, it's so funny, but you're like, I don't want to laugh because it hurts. Well, I mean, I've done exactly that on my Instagram stories, you know, and that has nothing to do with Plexus, but it's letting people see my personality. And that is where your sales are going to come from. People have to connect to you before they buy your product. They don't buy your product, they buy you. So you have to connect with them some way. And so that's where I would say, like, you definitely want your wall to be fun, and, you know, that you want them to go there and not see like a jumbled mess of pictures necessarily. I will say though, like if you go to Bridget Ryan's page, for example, Bridget's page isn't necessarily like uniform, but it's very much her and her kids. I mean, you can tell right off the bat, like what her MO is. I mean, like, you know that she is mom to the core and that she loves homeschooling those kids and they have fun. And then she throws in Plexus and she's gotten lots of followers that way. So it doesn't have to be, I don't want you guys to get caught up in the, I got to go buy the white rug and the marble background or the, you know, whatever. You can do this a lot of different ways. These are just things that have worked for me personally that you can mimic if you want to mimic. But I would say that you're going to have to figure out a way to connect with people, and you're going to want to use those Instagram stories and let people in. The images on Instagram, like your page, if you just utilize your page and you don't do stories, then I think a lot of times what people see, it's just like they're looking through a magazine. They're not really getting to know you. But the minute you start doing videos, and I'm talking videos, like you talking, you sharing, you letting them see your personality, letting them see your passions, all of that kind of stuff, when they get to see that, they're just more likely to want to look at your page. They're more likely to want to look into this product that you're talking about. You know, so I would really say push the Instagram story thing just as much as you're doing the Instagram posting. And don't get so caught up on, well, I got to make it look like a magazine. You know, I mean, Bridget's page does not look like a magazine necessarily, but it's just her fun little life. So Trisha Rachael, actually, it's her Instagram name is Clean House with Kids. She is an Emerald ambassador. Her name is Trisha Ragar. She has like 20-something thousand followers. She's got more, I think. Well, Timmy Yancey has like 47,000. So she may be the jewel with the most Instagram followers. And Timmy does a lot of style stuff. She does a lot of stuff with her daughter because her daughter is doing like TV shows and all that kind of stuff. So you can follow these people, follow other jewels, and get ideas and figure out what your niche is, and then give it time. I do think you have to be a little bit more patient with Instagram, but then also connect with people on your stories. Can you post on Instagram from your computer or only from your phone? Yes, I believe you can post from your computer. I'm actually on there right now. Let me just see. I don't know. I actually don't think you can. I think it has to be from your phone because it's not wanting to let me.
How do you feel about posting from Facebook to Instagram or Instagram to Facebook? And can you do both of those? And do you have an opinion about that?
Yes, you can do both. I typically don't. And the reason why is that Facebook algorithms will say if it's posted like Buffer, we used to use Buffer all the time. Buffer posts usually do not get as much attention as the regular posts. And the reason for that is that it flags Facebook and says, hey, this is posted from another app. And so Facebook is like, okay, well, we'll let a few people see that, but we're not going to let everybody see it. Okay. So that kind of, it adds some added challenges. Like I said, there are some challenges with Facebook now that
the other way around.
Yeah. We didn't have those back then, but with Instagram, to my knowledge, they don't care if you post. I don't think there is a way to post on Facebook from Facebook to Instagram, but there is from Instagram to Facebook.
Okay.
And I think you can post. I know you can post actually from Buffer to Instagram. So I don't know if the algorithms are the same that way. I've not tried that. So it may be worth trying. I actually probably should just look into that. I don't use Buffer as much anymore because I work from home. So it's easy for me to post during the day. But whenever I did work full-time, I worked all the way up to senior Ruby working full-time. So I did use Buffer a whole lot actually. And it worked for my business back then. So, and it does still work. If you are working full-time and that is all you can do during the day and your boss, you'd get in trouble if you posted outside of Buffer, then post with Buffer. It's better than nothing. So anyway, but I don't use the Instagram to Facebook because of that very reason. When I do, I've tried it and I just don't get hardly any comments. And I'm like, what's going on? I've got 24,000 followers and I'm getting like 3 comments, so it's interesting. The Facebook algorithms are very strange. Okay. Did I answer?
I think you have. I have to say that for any of us that are kind of a little bit of a rhinoceros nose about this, we're like kind of being a little hard-headed. And we're like, okay, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to break into that new thing. And even though it's not a new thing, it's actually not a new thing at all. But if your daughter has laughed at you, like you're in the position that and your daughter's Instagram my daughter's Instagram kind of looks like yours, Rachel. It has all the beautiful. And she even told me the other day, she goes, Mom, it needs to be a theme, a color theme. And I'm like, I don't understand still. Now that I understand the difference between stories, because I was thinking my daughter doesn't post every single day or multiple times a day anyway. So, and she keeps this continuity in the beauty of, it's almost like when you're looking at if you look at her page, if you call it a page, if you go to her account and you look at it, it has this like several Polaroids, is what it looks like to me, that all have a similar color pattern theme going on. And I remember thinking, but how is it that you're getting all these comments on all this other stuff? I mean, this is where I was like, people are commenting all the time and I don't see the comments because I'm looking at that and she has her story going on and I didn't even know about that. So you've opened my eyes to, well, I'm sure if I'd have really had a conversation with my daughter that wasn't like hush, then I probably would have known. I probably would have known that. But I feel like gone are the days of when Facebook was like, they showed their posts, they showed your post to everyone, and there was so much, Facebook used to feel a lot different than it does now. Yeah. And I feel like Instagram probably feels a little bit like Facebook used to feel. Mm-hmm. And I really like that enough that I'm willing to, not be such a rhinoceros nose, like not be really hard-headed about the things that I think, okay, well, if it's, I don't think that we are on Facebook death watch like we were about, MySpace, but I do feel like I'm willing to learn. And the truth is, for example, I think of Tammy Elmore and her story. She built her Plexus business in the nooks and crannies of her life. Okay. Like she got all the way to diamond. She got to emerald for sure, building in the nooks and crannies of working a full-time job. And now, instead of like using those nooks and crannies to like post, you have to put thought into things. Yeah. The consumer is getting smarter when you look at social media. Your consumer is going, I see that kind of stuff everywhere, and you have to be a little smarter. And I'm willing to put my effort into thought. It makes me feel a lot more about this business like I used to about my photography business. It's like, think outside the box a little, do something creative, do something that captures someone's attention rather than just being a billboard or an advertisement or whatever. And I knew you would be the perfect person to speak to us about this, and kind of because your tips were practical, and I didn't even think about asking you to share your screen, but doing that helped me a whole lot. And I know it did help, the people on my team and everything. So the reason I'm ending it this way and saying this is because I know I got a lot of people on my team that are my age or older who are like, I think I want to do this, but if that's going to require too much effort, that's why I wanted to know the followership. I guess it gives you more credit, right? Like you seem more credible on Instagram if you have the followership. And so people are going to pay more attention. Is that true? Right?
Yes. Yeah. And that's the last, I was just thinking, the last thing I was thinking was that it's really in this day and age, it's really on social media, it's more about influence. Mm-hmm. And you have to figure out a way to build your influence, and you can do that at any age, at any stage in your life. And you do that by being who God created you to be. And if you, like, I'm telling you, you have another great example in Lori being coming out into this world of talking about healing, supernatural healing and stuff like that. That is building her influence. And Lori, if you started doing that kind of stuff on Instagram too, and one of the things that I have done is I will post the same picture that I posted on Instagram to Facebook, but I post it separately. And I say, hey, you guys, I asked a question over on Instagram. Will you come and answer that for me over there? And I'll tell you, it's just like, you put the Instagram, it's like Instagram.com/whatever your name is / and it links directly to your page, and then they can follow you and they can answer that question. So that's a really good way to draw your Facebook people to your Instagram.
Is there a thing, like if I had like 50 people try to follow me at once, is there a way that I can say, oh yeah, let them all follow me? Or is there a way to set my account where I don't have to approve all the followers? Because that's one of the things that slowed my roll before, was having to push the button every time.
You have to have your profile to public, and then people can follow or unfollow at free will.
Jetty's over there answering the question for me. He's like, quit being such a hard head. Okay. I so didn't want to get on it's almost like I was like, I don't want to prophesy a Facebook death watch by saying we have to move to Instagram. And I don't feel like that's what it is, but I do feel like it's really silly of me not to get on that train, especially since we all have something to offer. I feel like we all have something to offer, and it's a whole different audience. And I've even had a few of you really talk to me recently about wanting to reach out to a younger audience, specifically like long phone conversations about reaching out to a younger audience. And I know that this could be very helpful in regards to that. Yeah. So, okay. And was there something else you were going to say? I definitely don't want to cut you off. Okay. I do want to pray over us. I'm going to make this as quick of a prayer as Holy Spirit will let me. See, okay. Somebody says new technology scares me. I don't really look at this. I will say I don't look at this as technology. This is just like thinking outside the Facebook box and just learning it's not really that much different. If you've learned Facebook, you can absolutely learn how to work Instagram. It's the same type of, mechanism. It's just a little bit more, it's more visually creative, I think. I think there's a lot more to the visual aspect. And so many of you who are artistic already, especially if you're one of those people like me that's like, don't make me reach out to cold message people I've never met before, I've never heard of before. If that scares you and you would rather put, and this is me, if you'd rather put effort into something that would drag people to you, Instagram is a great tool for that, because the creating a followership. I'm one of those people who I would love to create a followership, and I know that I have the ability to do that. Technology is a gift. I know sometimes we think, it's a little scary, but it's a huge gift, because we could be Avon salesmen or vacuum cleaner salesmen going door to door people. When I look at the aspect that technology brings into it, I think I'm going to lift up gratitude for that, because I built my entire business. I didn't do a single face-to-face meeting with people. Like, I didn't do any meetings outside of Facebook, what I was doing on Facebook, until I was a Jewel ambassador. So like until I was forced to do it, basically. So I'm just saying, technology can be a little scary, and like a new aspect of technology. Once you get your feet wet, do it wrong for a while. Who cares, right? Like, get in there and goof it up a little bit, and then start getting into the flow, see what people are responding to, and then you can go with it a little bit more. And now I'm going to shut up and pray, except for that's not shutting up, right? I want to pray. I've got a lot of things, like as you were talking, I was thinking lots of things I felt like the Lord was talking to me about. So God, I just thank you tonight. I thank you for how endearing it is to me, the one plexus spirit. Thank you for Rachael and her willingness to pour into us. She doesn't benefit in any way, Lord, but that there would be jewels in her crown. God, I thank you for Rachael and her loving heart. God, I just pray blessing upon her and upon her team and any efforts that she has, even outside of Plexus. And God, I just pray over that. I pray over that pregnancy and over that baby that's growing in her belly. Lord, that your anointing and your Holy Spirit is just brooding over that. In your love. And that it's like, I feel like it's like this culmination of how you loved Rachael before she was even born. You loved her husband before he was even born. It's like this culmination of how much you love them. And it's like combined into this baby. And the call on this baby's life. That even you would calm the pregnancy sickness. Any kind of feeling of queasiness or whatever, that there would be peace. Not enough that she thinks, oh, I'm not pregnant, because she's pregnant. We got to remind her she's pregnant. But I just speak peace, peace, peace. God, I thank you for my team and the open, receptive spirits. I thank you for this month of April. This has never come into my mind before, but I thank you for the month of April. I thank you for the springtime. I thank you for new beginnings. God, for what your plan is for those people who have been faithful through a season that felt like the winter. Like I feel like we've had a season that was like winter, obviously before the spring, but also we've had like this 2-year season that felt like winter, and it's really spring now. And so I thank you for April and what it represents in the natural, and right now for what it represents in the spirit. God, I thank you for this year and what you've shown me already. God, I just speak over that and I say yes and amen to the things that you've shown me about the year of 2018. About this, it's like a God blowing his creative spirit, miracle, just miraculousness is what I need to say. his creative miraculousness over our efforts. Like what we put forth, he multiplies and multiplies and multiplies. And I feel like I'm supposed to speak it over your business today. I feel like I'm supposed to speak it over your family, over your marriage, over your relationships with your kids today. That as you put forth effort, things that you know are good, that are part of God's plan, God's good plan for you, that he multiplies your efforts in this season. So every I'm sorry, every act of please forgive me, God blows his spirit onto that, multiplies the effort to break free from the bondage. Every time that you forgive someone else, that God's supernatural spirit blows onto that and is breaking you free. Every effort that you put into reaching out to someone about this business, about God's love for them, even when you reach out to someone because God just told you to say hello, how you doing, that God's supernatural. It's like, his spirit is there, but I feel like he's like, just invite me into that. God, we invite you into all of those things. I got these voice messages from someone today who had taken my breakthrough class that blew my mind in a good way. When she was telling me about how when we did our vision board day, and she's like, and I anointed it. And she's like, every single day I anoint my hands again and I pray over that vision board. And she was telling me about the good things that have happened since then. These rank advancements that had happened that were surprises to her. She didn't even have any idea. And it's like, as I was listening to those voice messages, I was picturing the fact that she was putting forth her effort, but it's like God gave the muscle, like she put her hand down and said, okay, look, I'm going to put my hand to this thing, but the muscle is going to be Holy Spirit. And God, I thank you for that in every single area. If you have an area that feels like, okay, I'm struggling over here, and you say, God, I invite you in. I open myself up to even correction. I open myself up and I invite you in, and I say, Lord, is there an area, is this an area that I need correction? Is there something that I'm looking at from a weird perspective? I'm open. My heart is open. My heart is receptive. Is there something I need to hear from you, Lord, that's going to feel like, oh gosh, I don't know. I don't know if I want to hear that, but I'm willing and receptive to that. I love springtime every year, but this year God has really highlighted it to me with like a bright green highlighter. He's like, you just wait for springtime. Wait to see what happens in the spring. And then it became like, wait for the month of April. You're not going to believe what the month of April is going to look like. And I had some of you, I had any of you that wanted to, and some of you jumped on that little very short Zoom that I did on Monday night, where I just like was breathing life onto the month of April, breathing life. And that was all completely God inspired. God has so much intended for the month of April. Creative miracles, new beginnings. Like I was seeing little eggs hatching everywhere, little eggs hatching. These things that have been incubating for a long time. Like cocoons. It's like this has been incubating for a long time. And now, like what has been created inside the cocoon, when it feels like darkness, it's kind of like when a seed is planted. It's like you feel like you're underground, you're dirt, and you've been kicked around or whatever. There's dirt in your eyes. And God says, I've been molding you in that season. So that you can handle the springtime. Because the springtime is going to require leadership. It's going to require stepping out of your comfort zone. It's going to require you to be something brand new, a new creation, just like spring, what spring represents. Brand new life. And he wants us to be ready for those things. God, I just speak right now to the calling on all of the lives that are on here tonight the specific calling that you have on their lives. Rise up. It's like this, every time I hear this word, like there's a new generation rising up, I always think, well, they're probably 15 years old, and God is showing me, no. Like, yeah, that too. But he's like, no, 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 no. Youth has nothing to do with this new generation rising up, because the age, there's so much wisdom with the age. Like the 15-year-olds that are rising up, he's like, they need the wisdom of the 50-year-olds. And all that's in between there, I feel the Father's love tonight. Always so powerful. And again, I want to speak life over not just Rachel's pregnancy, but her new family. I just see such happiness in her house. As fur babies are, it's like now it's baby babies. God's showing me that. He's like, she's been talking about her fur babies. Now it's her baby babies. And I just speak this special blessing and grace on as she becomes a mother and as she goes through that stage in life, that God's grace is ever present with her, and that she feels always so comforted by the anointing that's on her life and on her marriage and on her baby's life. God, we love you. We thank you. We thank you for the amazing grace that you have represented for us. We pray this all in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being on here. You'd be surprised at how much I learned tonight. My daughter would be embarrassed at how much I learned. She'd be like, Mom, you didn't know that. I would have told you.
I love it. I'm happy to help. So yay.
Yes, thank you so much. I've recorded this. I'm going to keep it unlisted. I'll share it with my team, the ones that have seen or whatever, and that way the general public can't see this video, if that's okay with you.
That's great.
Until you're ready to make your own announcement.
Yes.
And I would ask that everyone that was on this Zoom tonight, let Rachael make her own stinking announcement, okay? All right. When she feels the time is right.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you so much, Rachael. You guys all have a great night. Let's stop the recording.